In Uganda, there was a Christian preacher named Robert Setimba, who was making a lot of headway converting Muslims, and he was confronted in Kampala by 6 Muslims screaming, you guessed it, Allahu Akbar, and calling him kafir, started beating him with sticks. They beat him senseless, and they said that he was hurting Muslims by preaching about Islam and using the Quran in evangelization. Meanwhile, in Queen Elizabeth National Park, also in Uganda, another Christian who was working there as a tour guide, Muslims came up to him and said, we know you are the people who are supporting Christians in Uganda. And they killed him and 2 tourists. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there were 30 Christians killed. In Nigeria, there was a grisly discovery as at a cattle market. The jihadis passed through, and then 80 corpses and 20 headless bodies were found. And let's see. In Paris, we had a veiled Muslim woman, and she was at the commuter rail station in Paris, and she was screaming, this is MAGA country. See, I know, I stole your joke there, David. She was screaming Allahu Akbar, and she threatened to blow the place up. Meanwhile, in a penitentiary in France, a Muslim also screaming Allahu Akbar injured a guard. In Bangladesh, there was a Hindu festival. Of course, the idols were broken. It just seems to be the same thing over and over all around the world, David. Why is it that there's such a dreary sameness to all this? Can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, it's this weird situation where Islamic preachers will say whatever they need to say in the moment, to satisfy and appease whatever groups are around them, whatever the concerns are. They can say whatever they want. If it's convenient to say Islam's a religion of peace and tolerance, then they'll say that. If it's convenient to form alliances with LGBTQ and so on, they'll do that. If it's convenient to say that Muhammad was the greatest feminist who ever lived, they'll say that. But over time, when it's time, then all of a sudden the true teachings rise to the surface. We've been saying all of that for decades because it's exactly what you find in the Muslim sources. You've literally got their playbook. I mean, imagine, Robert, your football team's about to face another football team, and you have their entire playbook right in front of you. Imagine you've got their entire playbook in your hand. You know every play. You see them call the play, and you've got the playbook. You know exactly what the play is, and somehow you're totally confused. What's going on here? We can't figure this out. What do you mean? We read the playbook and we told you all what the play is, and you still are totally confused when they do exactly what we told you the play was.
Yeah, the one thing we know is they won't go by the playbook. Nobody pays any attention to that.
Nope.
All right, lots of jihad this week, ladies and gentlemen. That's a small bit of it, but we could just go on for hours, and I'm an old man. So this has been yet another thrilling episode of This Week in Jihad. We can hope there will be no more